Welcome to the Alleyman's Tarot flip-through. This is a years in the making video that is maybe very, very late. In 2021, the Alleyman's Tarot went up on Kickstarter, and it went on to become an award-winning, record-breaking deck. This is the deck itself. It comes in this fake Alley Strikers long stick matches box. Got a whole striking thing here that's been nice and used, and we got Publishing Goblin at the bottom. This was a one-time printing deck, and what made it particularly unique and why it went maybe quite as big as it did, winning a couple of awards and becoming the most backed, most supported divination crowdfunding project ever, even still today, is that this is not your normal tarot deck. Obviously, this is a larger than normal deck, and you can actually see in the guidebook why this is. This is a deck that, in its conceit, was collected card by card from tarot cards from other tarot decks. So in the guidebook, you have the Magician, and here it says, it was made by Roberto Papavero Crusca for the Negredo Major Arcana. You can find his work here. The High Priestess here was made by Charlotte Simonson of Witchen for the Gold Star Tarot. Every card in here was either made original for the deck with a unique front and back, or it was licensed from an artist from their deck. The idea was not just doing a collaborative deck, like right here you see two Hierophants. It was collecting a deck, as though the Alleyman, the titular character, has literally gathered these cards over time to create his own tarot, with all of its own meanings. You'll find that many times there's just one of each card, but then you get to the deaths, for example, and you find that there are 9 of them in the core deck. It's quite a few. Now we have decks from the past. We have cards from decks that were in museums and had to be licensed from the museums. We also have original work in here, like this Devil card's not from a tarot deck, but it was very much reading as a tarot card. We made it one. We also have unique cards in here. So the Tower has also been called the House of God or the Horizon here. And so the artist who did the Tower here, Freya Campbell, decided to do a series of 3 cards. This is a completely strange and beautiful deck. I, 7-Day Announcement, have put about 20 cards of my own designs into here. But we'll get into what else is in the guidebook in a little bit. So when you get the deck, you get the guidebook that we were just flipping through there, and you also get the matchbox that was right here, right? And inside of it, of course, is this massive 137 card tarot deck. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, there were a couple duplicates, but like 137 cards is dramatic. But what's the deal with that? Well, not only do we have all the cards that you'd expect of a tarot deck, you do have the Fool, the Magician, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, Lovers, we have a High Priestess, we have everything in here that you'd expect. We also have, in the back here, a 30-something card that is starting here, I believe, with the black and white candle. This is a second arcana. It's the Strange Arcana. It's made up of a variety of cards that follow their own rules. It's basically a mini oracle deck that's in here. You'll also notice that the cards in here, if in their original incarnations they had metallic ink, gold foil, red foil, and a little spot here, silver foil, this pink foil, or edge gilding. This one has gold edge gilding. Those cards maintained those elements. So if you look at the side, you actually get an array of edge gilding. You also get hot pink foil, like on the Queen of Bombs. This is one of my designs. And just overall, did the most I could to keep all of these cards true to their original intended forms. And beyond the second arcana that you had there, there is also a full fifth suit that comes after the Pentacles. It starts with, for example, the Ace of Hounds, the Two of Whips, the Three of Books, the Six of Inking Balls. The 4 and 5 are both foil, so they were at the end of the deck there. So there is a full 1 through 10 with a knight, a king, a queen, all in here. It's a very, very big deck. But before we do maybe just a full flip through of the deck, let's take a look at everything else that is here. I've already shown you the guidebook a bit. Something that I flipped to but didn't talk about is that there are also reading spreads in here. This is laid out to be a guidebook written by the Alleyman. And then there are fake post-it notes throughout that are my editor notes of Alleyman's work. So it's full of little spreads and information on the spreads and examples of how they work. And fake damage to the book. And you got fake whiteout with a bunch of ink stains all over everything. But something you may notice at the back is these washi-taped edge pages that have additional cards. These are here because they are the booster packs. I know the deck is already 137 cards, but there are not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different booster packs and a blanks booster pack. If you want to make some of your own cards, every back of the card in this pack is different from one another. So just like in the deck, where all of the card backs are unique, and they are quite different from one another, you will find that you can expand the deck to 200 plus cards. It's quite a lot. But there are all kinds of goodies that are extra. You can get this cigar box. It might be a little hard to read on camera, but it says the Alleyman's Short Cigars. It's got a little embellishment on the front, and the manufacturer did make some versions of this that have gold filling in this area. It's big enough to fit your entire matchbox in here, so you can store your deck in this. It's a great looking box to do so. Underneath everything we have here, we also have the Alleyway Liqueurs tarot cloth. It's a really nice and big tarot cloth here that you could do your readings on to keep your deck safe from anything that might be on a table, especially if you do readings in bars like I often do. We also have the poker chip, which plays into the Alleyman mythos. The idea behind it is you place it on top of the deck after you've dealt out some cards, and if people want to know more, they have to pick it up to make a wager with fate. There's also a 17-cent coin, because part of the mystique of the Alleyman is that you have to pay 17 cents to get a reading. There's also a satin bag from the Gleaming Alley Fine Jewelers. I did make up a bunch of fake brands, like the Alley Strikers Long Matches, the Alleyman's Long Cigars, Gleaming Alley, the Alleyway Liqueurs, just so that everything felt like it came from the world somewhere. There's also art prints that come with the deck if you so desire to buy them. These are just some of the designs that I put together for the deck. I didn't want to bother the artists with everything else. And the last thing that makes this deck particularly unique, beyond everything else going on with it, is that because we involved 131 artists, beyond myself, with this deck, it became really important that we did not have to worry about royalties in the far future, so there was only ever one printing of this deck. We made a lot of them, but they will not last forever. So if you're interested in getting the Alleyman's Tarot, it is better to get it now. There is a link in the description, because once we do sell the last copies we have, we can never print it again. And with that said, let's take a look through the deck. A proper, nice look. And let's bring it in here a little bit. Alrighty. So we start with the Fool. We do have the Magician, of course. Alright. We have the Fool from the Rubber Ducky Tarot, the Magician. We have the Empress. We have the Emperor, this is original and done just for this deck. You've got the gorgeous gilded top surgery scars underneath the pecs, which I love. Hierophant, I call this the jerk one. This is Hierophant, the more positive one. Now, obviously, this is not a Hierophant card, or originally wasn't, but we are using it that way. This is the Lovers, a very tragic Lovers to include. A big part of this deck was actually choosing what cards to put in it. I didn't just reach out to every single artist that I knew. There's the Hermit, and say, I want a card from your deck. Early on, I was like, I love your deck because the aesthetic fits what I think the Alleyman would use. And for some people, I did actually pick which card from their decks I wanted. It's not just a random assortment. And if you get the deck, you will notice that it has a particular feel to it. It's hodgepodge, it's mixed, but it also has a particular aesthetic. I would imagine that the Alleyman, were he real, would pick these cards to add. And not just grab anything. We're in the deaths now, and there are a few of them. The Dancing Death. The thing about having 9 deaths is not just that they all mean the same thing. Anything that has duplicates in this deck is actually carrying different meanings. So each of the deaths had a particular purpose. Like the Reaping Death was about, ending the crops and moving on to the next harvest. The Dancing Death was about accepting the change of fate and how time moves. This is a sun. These are both suns. One of them's about conjuring it to bring it yourself. One of them's about more traditional, enjoying it while it's there. Do you have Judgment? Le Monde, the world. We get into cups. I really love this cup. It's super great. I love the back so much. It's so beautifully designed. 2 of cups. Of course, we've got the 3. I have drawn on these and colored them many a time for different people. This is from a very, very fun baseball deck called Arcana League. This was an original done for the deck by an incredible artist. And if you do notice that there's anything missing in here, like we just skipped the 6 of Cups, it's because it's at the back of the deck when you originally receive it. This is a deck I just opened. So we will get to the foils all at the end, because the complicated part for manufacturing was that foils and edge gilding and stuff had to be done separately from the rest of the deck, since most of the deck isn't edged or foiled. So that means the cards had to be taken out of the decks, foiled and gilded, and then put back in. This one was great. It was drawn on top of an actual 2 of Clubs card, and we had to size it up for tarot. And some of these cards weren't originally this size. Like this one in particular was not. It was a wider card. We did have to adjust them and make sure the artist was happy with the way it was adjusted, to make sure that, it doesn't lose anything that it was originally carrying. I really love these historical cards because we get scanned versions of them, that lose a lot of their fidelity, and they exist as they exist now, where they're a little screwed up, but they're printed anew on new cardstock. So even though they look kind of garbage sometimes, that they're really falling apart in the museum. Here it is on like new cardstock, and that just feels so beautiful and bizarre. Now, we're going to get to some cards here where I'm going to really start thinking about what made the Alleyman special. When it was running on Kickstarter, it was quickly climbing, okay? We were going up and up and up very fast. We've got the 4 of Swords here, and it became clear that we were going to topple the previous 6th biggest tarot project, 5th fourth, third, and then eventually we did take the #1 spot. So I began to reach out to all of the projects that were, the top 6 tarot or divination projects, top 6 oracle decks, top 6 tarot decks, to ask if they wanted to put one of their cards in here, because we were going to take the #1 spot. And I felt like it really meant something to have a huge gathering of artwork from many different people become the thing that became the most funded tarot deck ever. And so there are cards in here that have real special meaning to me because they were ahead of us in funding for a long time until we started just exploding. And once we hit that $1.4 million mark, it was clear everyone who took part in this had a hand in making it what it was. We're in the Pentacles at this point, and if you can't tell, there's just such a beautiful variety of color and designs here. This is from the Self-Love Tarot. It's super cute. I love the design. This is from the Solabuska. I really love the Solabuska. I have a museum reprint of it, and it's full of beauty and strangeness. This is from my dear friend Shan Benian, who did a couple cards in here, I believe. Somnia Tarot. I wish I could just sit here and tell you where every single thing came from, but that would make the video a little long. And that's what the guidebook is for. I do want to be clear, the guidebook is actually free on the Publishing Goblin website. This is the 7 of Bells. All of the guidebooks for my tarot decks and oracle tools are always free on the downloads page at publishinggoblin.com, because I want people to be able to get a hold of a PDF without having to buy like an ebook or something. The Builder. Father Sleep. I really liked making this one. It just brought me joy. I gotta do some bright, pretty colors. I have the black and white candle, which is meant to get reversed over time. Wild Hunt. This lovely Joker. We're in the second arcana, of course. Giuseppe was a fan favorite. It's from Hypothetic Cards. It's like a fake Pokemon card game. We have the Dark Sun. Black Moon. This is Fear. It's marked as 22. This is The Hole. I actually drew it on cardboard, and so when you look at the way that it ended up coming through in digital, you see the cardboard striations, I guess. The Hawk Moth. Basically another death, let's be honest. The Letter. Of course, that would be a Lenormand card, but at the time I didn't think I would ever do an Alleyman's Lenormand. But we'll actually see whether or not that's true here soon. Comforter is one where it was originally a very wide, bigger card, and we had to make some concessions on what we did with the top and bottom space on the card to make it fit. To Gaz, we had to have a rune in here. Misery. L'Espérance is hope. Make fun of me if you know French. I do not. The Tradition is from a tarot deck that I was working on years ago and decided not to carry through, so I figured I'd steal a card for this. Frost is actually from my Oracle dice. I had square cards with all the Oracle dice symbols on them. Bonefire, this is actually from someone who did her master's with me in Chicago and does poems on bones. It's very pretty. The poem is in the guidebook. The Traitor. The Performer. I put this together with open source images. The Thing Among Reflections. I really love it. I think it's so much fun. This is the Empty or the Void or the Blank. And this is the final tarot card. This is a card that I made for the set that I said if you draw it or you see its back come up, you stop the reading, because it means that what's coming after that is information the person isn't ready to take in yet. And these are some of the, there's like gold ink on the back. We have the High Priestess finally. We have the Knight of Rings, which is discs. We've got the House of God with that golden lightning bolt splitting the house. Lona Level Sands, I pointed out, has this red foil sun on it. Five of Mirrors from the fifth suit. This is from Wolf Skull Jack, and I use it as a card that goes sideways, and you draw two cards, one for each talon, and it's important and heavy wisdom that the Night Owl brings. The Riding Death comes sweeping in. Six of Cups. This poor artist, such a lovely and kind human being, kept getting emails being like, do you know that someone stole your design for another deck? Like, no, it wasn't stolen, it was licensed, we all know. The Knight of Swords. I love the female Knight of Swords. It just brings me a lot of joy. We have the Four Keys. It's actually done by my dear friend and roommate, Noah. This is the Moon. It's got a gold edge. That's why it's in the back. This is the Masterless Knight. This is from the normal tarot. It's got a silver edge. That's another one that I've published. This is Deconsecration. Love it. It's a very high concept deck where fertility is stolen by the gods, basically. We have the Star. There's actually a design my mom painted in real life and did beadwork and wire work. And then I added foil to it and just touched it up a little digitally. Six of Wands. Love this sign. Page of Pentacles made for this deck. The Ace of Swords, kind of a She-Ra look to it. It was very much inspired at the time by She-Ra. The Fountain by Amy Smith, who did the normal tarot. Super lovely design. The Undaunted. There's another Shan Bennion piece. I love Shan. Thank you. The Bogeyman. This is what started the Misery Tarot for me, which is a whole other deck that I've recently put out. The Devil. Three of Wands, which is so lovely. We have the Seven of Wands. It's got a green gilded edge. Nine of Wands. This one has a blue gilded edge. Got the Four of Coins, which has a black gilded edge, which is fun and different. And the Queen of Wands, which is the founding card of the Hot Housewives Tarot. That is the full deck. And you might wonder, how do I read with such a deck? If all the cards are all different, won't I know what's coming up? And that was an initial worry for many people, but that worry goes away immediately once you start using the deck. It's still a tarot deck, right? You're going to shuffle it until you stop. It doesn't matter if you know the card you're about to draw. Once you've stopped, all the cards that you draw are going to be different, no matter what. That's always how tarot works. So, don't be afraid of a deck with different backs. You will not get caught up in silly stuff like that. So let's crack some booster packs and see what's in here. Now, each numbered booster pack has the same cards in it always. So booster 1 has exactly these cards in it. There's no random chance here. So the other thing is we have a foil card in each and every pack, and we'll get to that at the end. So there's the Star, the Magician. Oof, these are fresh. Justice. I love this card. I realized that I was going to have to start reaching out to artists for additional cards as we were going because we were just so big and super funded, and I want to make sure I got more artists involved. And this is why, in the end, we ended up with 131 artists. The last round's such an incredible card. Really appreciate it. The Ten of Attention. The Devil with a Snakes for Dicks. I am obsessed with it. I got it from a museum and just laughed my butt off. The Gloaming. It's a super delightful, kind of dark space card. The Ace of Endymions. The Strength. Loved this deck. It was so full of pretty things. I didn't know what to pick. The Empress. The Tower. So fun. The Moon. And then Shan Bennion came back to do an Alleyman card with this coppery foil treatment. It's so pretty. That was booster pack 1. I'm so excited to crack these open. It's been literal years since I've opened a booster pack of tarot cards, which sounds a little funny, but After I did it the first time, I did it more. You can actually see the card that's going to be foil on the front of the pack. We have this lovely Joker. And I am laying them down face down so you can see the backs. I don't know if people are going to be like, wait a minute, I want to see the backs. Don't worry, I do it. The Albright, this is an original card. I was excited to have that. I think this one's so much fun. We have this gorgeous High Priestess that Ezra Kimball did. Ezra drew all the lords of the dice for my Oracle dice. We have this Bunny Death. Of course, I'd add more deaths. I think that change comes in so many flavors that you have to really appreciate it through different versions. Page of Curses. This is from the animated tarot. This was in the #1 most funded Kickstarter that included a tarot deck. It was animated, lenticular animation on it. We couldn't do that in this printing, but they were kind enough to take part. We have the Undead, which is another kind of death. The Lovers, super lovely, easy, beautiful card. Deals in the Dark. This was from an artist who made the back just for this because this was not a tarot card, but I was like, it totally is. The Nine of Games. Got the Page of Cups. We have the Time Machine, which is super lovely. And then this World card with this holographic foil treatment here. It's so pretty. Beautiful, beautiful. So you'll notice that these are rather full booster packs. There's a lot in them. These first 3 each have 17 cards apiece. So you start adding up those numbers and you're like, wow, that's a lot of cards. We have Judgment, which is from the Literary Tarot. Super gorgeous. The King of Swords, who's definitely not a famous character of any kind. The Wheel of Fortune, it's just so pretty. I couldn't not have that. There's the King of Flint, super incredible deck made by that artist. This is the Morning Death, the Fool, the Keeper of Swords, the Relic. I'm sure some of you love that. The Four of Wands with these old crones knitting together. I think, or crocheting, sorry. Knitting or crocheting? One of them. I think they're doing great. This was from the #1 most funded purely tarot campaign, the Botanical Tarot. It was super gorgeous. It was the Sick of Swords. It was a design made for the Six of Swords they didn't end up using. So we got to have it. The Hand of the Hunter. The High Priestess. This one's an Eldritch one. The Smoking Death. Many of you might notice the artist, Micah. This was not actually part of Micah's tarot deck, but I was like, I know you have a tarot deck, but I actually want this piece as one of my deaths. Got the Seven of Cups. This incredibly fun Page of Wands. Five of Cups, of course. And then I did this Happy Squirrel because people kept asking for it, with that green foil at the top, and it's holding its nameplate and it's chewed on it and it's on fire, because I feel like that's Happy Squirrel energy. And then this was free to basically everyone on the project. I just threw a free one into everyone's carts, but I took a poll on what cards people would like in a final booster pack. This has just 7 cards, it says, but there's actually 8 inside. And these are all cards that I did to round off the project. So we have the Queen of Ravens. We have this Infinity here, this Ouroboros. The Storyteller. This one means something special to me. We have the Queen of Strays. I was really proud of how I got the text on there to look like it was really part of the scene. I get a little proud of things that maybe I need to be chill about. This is the Alley card. The Alley is very important. This is the Alleyman deck, after all. This is the Publishing Goblin, which was a self-insert. I had so much fun putting this collage together, marrying all these elements, especially the back. And because of that, the back and front are used in sections on my business card. Then I did this one originally, Lightning in a Bottle. People really wanted to see it. I did it as a manufactured thing, and I thought it was very fun. People were disappointed that it wasn't more raw and natural. So then I took that same bottle, I painted over everything digitally, and I made this raw, natural one where you throw a bottle into the air and the lightning strikes in it. And that, my dear friends, is everything. There is a blanks booster pack. We're going to leave that sealed because there are a lot fewer of these around in the world. Someone may want one, but every back design on here is unique. That is the Alleyman's Tarot, my dear friends. If you're interested in getting a copy for yourself, we still have copies available at www.alleymantarot.com. That's Alleyman, no S, alleymantarot.com. And we're selling this here. We're also selling the Alleyway Oracles, which is the follow-up project. I'll be doing a video on that shortly. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope that this inspires you to maybe go take a look at this incredible deck. It is really impressive. The unique thing about it is that it's not just a collaboration deck. There have been many collaboration decks done over the years where you get many different artists and they all put in effort to make different illustrations, but they also fit a theme. This is a collection, a museum is what a lot of people have called it, a museum of tarot work and art. This shows you who made it, where it's from. If you really love a card and you feel compelled, there is information here about what deck it's from. And then you can go get that and have a full deck in that style. That's something that makes this truly unique, and nothing had ever been done like it. And as a result, there are communities online. This may have already been happening before, but there's communities online, especially the Alley on Facebook, which is a fan page dedicated to this deck and its idea of changing your deck. You should change out this deck. Everything you have should become different. You should take cards out of the deck. You should add cards you love. People are actively trading individual tarot cards from their decks online to make their Alleymans, their Mixie deck, their Chaos deck, their Magpie deck, whatever you want to call it, their own. And you can join them. Come join us in the Discord, join the Alley Facebook page, or find a place online that makes Magpie tarot decks, and join in trading through the mail to get different tarot cards to complete the deck just the way you want it. In the guidebook here it says, from the Alleyman, if I ever see you with my deck and it's exactly the way you bought it, I will be disappointed. Change it and make it your own. Alright, thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.